Hi guys, it's Joe, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use the adaptive limiter in Logic. It's a really useful tool for mastering, and it's essentially a really hard compression. It's used to maximise the output when mastering a track to make sure it's as loud as it can be without distorting. Now I'm just going to be showing you this example on a bit of MIDI on some quite sparse chords on here which have quite a bit of release and delay on them. So you have the initial attack, which is quite loud, and then the adaptive limiter is essentially going to make the sustain and the delay a lot louder as well. Okay, so when you're using the adaptive limiter, you want to put it on a stereo output channel. Again, this is because when you're mastering, you'd have the fully bounced version in your project here, and then you'd apply it over here once you've put on a bit of EQ and maybe a little bit more reverb and subtle compression over here as well. So then you want to put the adaptive limiter essentially on last. Okay, so just going to put it up, go down, it's under dynamics and just at the top here. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to turn it off and play you the chords I have going on so you know what they sound like normally. So as I said, quite sparse with that bit of delay on there as well. Okay, the defining feature of this adaptive limiter is this out ceiling dial over here. And this is what I mean in that it's similar to compression, in that when it hits this out ceiling, no other audio goes past it, so it's just a really hard compression. When it hits a threshold, it just doesn't let anything through. Now I'm just going to go over and talk about all the other different parameters we have on here. So over on the left we just have our signals, so we have the input for what's coming into the adaptive limiter, and then the output for what it's actually letting through. So if it's essentially under our out ceiling or if it's hitting it, it's just going to come up to 0 or below. And then we have the reduction for how much, funnily enough, reduction is being applied for a signal that is going past the input, and it's going to come up here. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it on, and over here we were coming up to about -1 dB, so I'm just going to give this a bit more oomph so we can get a bit more in the reduction. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it's going over the input and then it's coming into the reduction, so that's how much signal it's taking off. So we'll just slowly fade that in as well. So just giving it all that gain, and then when we're hitting our out ceiling here, it's not letting anything else through. Now next we have the look ahead dial. This, as the name suggests, is looking ahead in the audio signal to see where the peaks in it are, where the loudest points of the audio are. Because this is when the adaptive limiter is going to need to kick in, so it just needs a bit of warning that it needs to do something. So we can adjust this manually, or we can just go for optimal look ahead and apply that, and it's just going to make it nice and quick. This is quite useful just because it sets the optimal playback buffer size for whatever computer or Mac you have to make it more suitable for what you're using. We also have true peak detection over here, which just detects the peaks in the signal, similar to our look ahead, except it's just looking out for them. And lastly, we have the remove DC offset. This is to remove any extra fuzz or buzz caused by direct current from lower quality audio equipment, and it essentially applies a filter to it to remove it, but because it's just a bit of MIDI we don't actually need that on, but it's not going to sound any different because it's not from hardware. The adaptive limiter is incredibly useful for mastering to optimize the maximum output level that you can achieve using the out ceiling over here without getting any distortion. So this is what it's trying to prevent, is that we're going to hit this out ceiling so nothing goes over and nothing distorts or clips. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment or contact me via my website. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.